In this week's episode of One Piece, the battle-weary warriors of Dressrosa get some well-deserved rest, and Sabo tells the story of his amnesic adventures with the Revolutionary Army and their leader, Dragon. This week's episode of One Piece is an episode that all One Piece fans should definitely check out, even people who exclusively read the manga version, because there's some new material in this episode that's pretty damned fantastic. Not only that, but this was a really well-made episode of One Piece. There were some great animated action sequences, a great training montage sequence with Sabo going up against some of the big boys from the Revolutionary Army. We got to see the return of the ultimate bromance that is Bartolomeo and Cavendish. Nico Robin wearing short shorts, Ivankov scaring the crap out of Hack the Fishman for absolutely no reason, Frankie fixing his face with a screwdriver. There were just so many great images and memorable moments from this episode. So the bulk of this week's episode is essentially a retelling of all of the events which happened to Sabo after his ship was blown to hell and back by one of those douchebag celestial dragons. He is picked up by the Revolutionary Army and Dragon himself, and they are still hinting that he has some sort of weather power or some sort of wind power. That's pretty much what I think it's going to revolve around him, like what his devil fruit abilities might be, or even some weird form of hockey that we've never seen. Maybe it's just something entirely new. Who knows what the deal with Dragon is? All I know is he is awesome, and it's really cool because this episode sort of firmly establishes how awesome Sabo really is. I mean, at the age of 12, he was not only beating Hack in a fist fight, but he was going toe-to-toe with Kuma and frickin' Dragon himself, getting right up in his face, even when he gets his signature pipe weapon. This was a really great episode that expanded on his character and how he sort of evolved in this whole Revolutionary Army, which is something that's always been in the background of the One Piece series, and little by little, as the story is going on, especially at this point, they're starting to finally make their presence known just a little bit more, and I can't wait to learn more about these guys. They're all so interesting, and I have to say my favorite sequence indeed was the one where we got to see where he was 12 years old and going up against Kuma and Dragon. That sequence was really well animated. There was another one towards the end of the episode when he's much older, 17, kicking all sorts of ass, already mastering hockey before Ace and Luffy. Again, proving that he definitely, I think, has the edge in terms of like his abilities and fighting at this point in the series, but still it's kind of hard to say because I don't even think that we've really seen him go all out quite yet, especially now that he has a devil fruit in the series. And that's pretty much this episode right here, which is basically just going through his backstory and showing us some unknown elements that we never got to see before, all bookended with all of the Straw Hat Pirates just taking a nice, well-deserved rest at Kiro's house. The scene is really funny and enduring. They're all just completely like knocking out and falling asleep on top of each other, and then Sabo just arrives and ends up telling this awesome story. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of One Piece? I really enjoyed this one right here. I like that they expanded on Sabo a little bit more. All of the emotional moments were really great, especially when he was picked up by the revolutionaries and hanging out with all of them, how he was just sort of breaking down. He lost his memories and he wants to go along with them, but they reassure him that this is going to be very dangerous. But Sabo is just a freaking hard ass. Like, all the scenes with him training with Hack were really fantastic, and the fact that he was so young at that time and able to go toe-to-toe with such big boys like Kuma and Dragon, like, that's really, really surprising. I'm really glad that they included those scenes as well. But aside from all of the montage sequences with Sabo, the best thing about this episode are just all the little character moments, the ones at the beginning where they're hanging out at Kiros' house, all the Straw Hat Pirates, and even just weird, smaller moments in the episode, like with Ivankov, like when he scared Hack, just out of nowhere. Something about that scene was really funny to me. He just appears, his head is all creepy and Tim Curry looking as always. I mean, he basically is Dr. Frankenfurter. So, this was a really fun episode right here. If you're a Sabo fan, definitely check out this episode. It expands on the character, and you get to see some things we haven't seen before. So, it's all good stuff. Not to mention more teases with the character of Dragon, and I promise this is going to pay off later in the future. So, let's all get ready to watch the next episode of the series. It looks like it's going to be just as fun as this one, as we get ready to go into the next arc of One Piece. So I'm going to give this week's episode right here a 4 out of 5. I thought it was a pretty good episode. There were a few moments I think they could have gone through a little bit quicker, like with Sabo leaving and the Celestial Dragon blowing up his ship and everything, but still, it's a minor thing. This was still a pretty fantastic episode of One Piece that all One Piece fans should definitely check out. But if any of you guys That's right, you guys right there. If any of you watched this week's episode, why don't you tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. Did you have a favorite scene from this episode? Maybe a favorite action sequence? What do you think of the Revolutionary Army in general? What's the deal with the dragon? What are his secret powers? Is it a devil fruit ability? Is it hockey? Is it something completely new? And what do you want to see from the rest of the One Piece anime series? Please tell me in the comments section below. Did I ever tell you guys that you're awesome? Thank you for watching this review. I really appreciate it. If you would like to, how about you smash that like button and make sure to share this video with all of your friends. And if you'd like to, maybe you could subscribe to the channel. That way you'll be able to see all of our latest anime and manga reviews. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby.